Chapter 9. After her initial 24 hours in Vermont, life settled into a more stable routine. Aunt Josephine had left explicit instructions for the care of her garden and goats. Truthfully, the goats required very little maintenance and gave her a good laugh at least 3 times a day. It was impossible to be in a bad mood around them as they bounced and bopped around, periodically butting her in the leg in play. After about a week on her own, her car was finally ready to be picked up from Red's, the repair shop. She enjoyed the quiet time to settle in, but she was the extroverted sort. If she didn't have human interaction soon, she'd go crazy. Apparently, while she was in the hospital that first day, Gabe had called the local auto shop and had them tow her car there for repair. It was nice that she didn't have to handle it then, but now she felt like she owed him one. She really didn't like being in debt to people, especially handsome, bossy ones. Still, he'd called to say that her car was ready and he could drive her to pick it up this afternoon. Considering her aunt was coming home from the hospital tomorrow, the timing was perfect, and she wasn't too proud to accept his help when it was so obviously necessary. She could pick up her car, run some errands, and maybe even hit up a local restaurant for some food she didn't have to cook herself. When the doorbell rang, she cursed out loud. Why was he early? She glanced at her phone. Shoot, she was late. She answered the door, blowing a curl out of her face. Sorry, I'm ready. Just let me grab a jacket. She left the door open and he walked inside to wait. Why did you lock the door? You aren't in New Jersey anymore. The worst that will happen is a bear will let himself in. Imogen walked back into the room, putting on her denim jacket, and scowled. If a wandering bear isn't reason enough, then I don't know what to tell you. She turned to Cookie, who had followed her to the door, to say hello. You be a good girl while I run out. Cookie talked back in yowling tones, and Gabe laughed out loud, continuously charmed by the canine. No, you can't come with me. I won't be gone long, and I'll bring you back something special. Her dog wagged her tail, then went to lay down on the couch to take a nap. Imogen laughed and turned to Gabe. Sometimes I forget she's a dog and can't understand me. Can't she? He grinned and winked at the pit bull who watched them leave. How are you both settling in here? I don't want to be a nosy neighbor. He walked out the door and Imogen followed him to his truck. Well, I appreciate that. It's been quiet. I'm still getting used to that, but it's been fun taking care of the animals. I've never met a llama before, and the goats make me laugh. This little farm reminds me of the Island of Misfit Toys. Oh yes, from the holiday movie, I know that one. The abominable snowman was always my favorite. Imogen laughed, the sound so vivacious, just like her, Gabe thought. She continued chatting. I love having a little time to myself, but I'm used to keeping my brain busy. I'm excited for Aunt Jo to come home. I can only take so much silence. I love the silence. I don't think I could live in the city or anywhere populated for too long. Sounds like you're just where you need to be. It must be nice, she thought, to fit in somewhere so well. Imogen was silent for a minute, then asked the question that was burning in the back of her mind for the last week. How is Fortune? Gabe looked at her sideways, not saying anything right away. She wouldn't appreciate anyone noticing, he could tell that much about her already, but she had a soft spot when it came to animals. It was endearing. He's doing okay. Bianca is relatively new to horses, and he's very athletic. I'm sure that we'll find some common ground soon, but for now, they are under Laura's watchful eye. She seems nice enough, I guess, Imogen admitted reluctantly. I know you are close with Bianca, but she seems a little excitable. At the grimace on her face, Gabe couldn't help but grin. Is that you trying to be polite? I guess you could say I appreciate a woman with a lot of personality. That's on you, man. Just seems a little high maintenance to me. I don't like how she treated Fortune. He looked like he was about to say something, then thought the better of it and quieted. I know I don't know anything about horses, but he didn't seem to want to leave with her. Maybe I'm imagining it. You have a good heart. No, don't write me off, he said as she started to interrupt. I see it in your relationship with Cookie. She adores you. Fortune liked you too. But sometimes animals have physical or behavioral issues that can't be easily addressed. I get that, really, I do. But she seemed scared of him. I just don't think they were a good match. Maybe, maybe not. But he is her horse, and you don't get a say. You shouldn't make judgments based on one meeting. Bianca isn't a bad person. Haven't you heard that cliché about first impressions? Well, if we are sticking with first impressions, then you've got her beat. Finding you starfished, unconscious on your aunt's couch could leave a lasting impression on a man. Ugh, you're so annoying, she harumphed, and crossing her arms, she focused on the view outside the window. Thankfully, they were already pulling in at Red's garage because she was done talking to him. She couldn't wait to get her car and her independence back. Imogen jumped out of the truck and flounced into the small office, leaving Gabe to lean against his grill and wait, this time with his arms crossed. Why was he always so calm? He made her look dramatic by comparison. She stuck her tongue out at him before turning and walking into the mechanic's office. Gabe simply ignored her and took his phone out of his pocket to check his messages. The door jingled as she walked in, and a large man in overalls walked out of the garage bay to meet her. She supposed at one point it was possible he had red hair, but what he had left was gray and close-cropped, covered by a navy cap. He was huge, easily over 6 feet tall, and built like a linebacker. He almost had to duck to get into the office. He spat something into a water bottle in his hand. "Hello, miss. You must be Joe's niece. I'm Red." She was charmed despite herself. "Hi. Yes, I'm Imogen. Thank you so much for helping me with my car. I'm excited to have it back." He winked at her flirtatiously. "Well, miss, that is one nice ride. I don't see many of those up here. We get mostly trucks and electronic cars, you know, so it was a real treat. There was quite a bit of damage to the bumper and the muffler had to be replaced, but overall, you were lucky. You said you hit a moose?" Imogen blushed and retorted dryly. "Technically, he hit me. You should have seen the antlers on him. He was a big one." Red busted out laughing and began to cough as Gabe walked in behind her, apparently tired of waiting in the parking lot. "Did I miss something?" Imogen just shrugged. She really didn't see what was so funny. Men were weird. Red caught his breath, winked at her like they shared a secret, and grabbed the keys, handing them over to her. When she took them, he placed his other hand over hers and told her solemnly, "Drive safe, and let me know if you have any problems. Joe's a good friend, and we take care of our friends around here, little miss." He was sweet. "Thank you so much. How much do I owe you for the tow and the repair?" The mechanic gave her a number that was so shockingly low, she wouldn't be surprised if he gave a big friends and family discount. The same work at home would be at least double. Still, she didn't question it and vowed to herself to make him some cookies in thanks as she paid her bill. Gabe and Red chatted for a bit about something that sounded suspiciously like hunting, and she tuned them out, checking her phone for anything important she might have missed. Not one text from her friends at home since she'd been gone. It had only been a week, but still, she was disappointed. Her stomach growled ferociously. She looked up from her phone to find both men staring at her, eyes wide. Gabe patted Red on the arm and goodbye. "I guess we should go feed the beast before it gets really angry." Red guffawed again, good-naturedly, and waved them out the door. Refusing to feel embarrassed, after all, it was dinner time, Imogen shook her keys. "Thanks, Gabe, but I don't want to take up any more of your time. You've been so kind all week." He pocketed his keys and opened the driver door of her car with a calm smile, a dimple winking at her. Wait, how did she not realize he had dimples before? It had to have been the concussion, because those were almost worth having him around. Imogen caught her breath as he leaned over, only to release it when he put her seatbelt on. "I thought you were getting grabby for a second." "I like that you say whatever you're thinking." "Nope, just making sure you don't have another incident until I can feed you. I'll meet you at the tavern, just follow me. They have a great happy hour menu, and since it's Friday, there will be a band." He closed the door and patted the roof. "This car is sweet. Not practical for up here, but she's beautiful." She fired up the engine, grinning back at him when it purred. "She sure is sweeter than me." "Okay, I'll meet you, but dinner is on me because I owe you one. Let's feed the beast."